So with this lesson, we need to take a look at what is a rate, and it's pretty simple. It's a ratio, but we're going to slap some units on those numbers. We're going to tell you what those numbers represent, and here's the catch: the units can't be the same. So if we looked at this right here, it's a ratio of 250 to 4, written in a fraction form. But if you notice, we actually took the time to label what the 250 stood for. In this case, it was pounds. And then down here, the 4 was labeled as feet. And so because we took a ratio and we slapped units onto each of the numbers, and those units are different from each other, we call it a rate. That's it. So for every 4 feet, it's 250 pounds. Here's 20 miles for 15 minutes. Don't overthink it, but it's still a ratio. It's still a comparison of two different numbers by division. But now we've put those units on there. That is the only difference between rates and ratios. Okay? So a rate is a ratio. It's just we took the time to label the numbers. Now, moving on, let's take a look at some problems here. Let's make some rates from some word sentences, word problems. Mayor calculated that the school fundraiser for a marathon would raise $28 for every 3 miles the students ran. So find the rate of dollars to miles. Now this is very important because if they ask you for a ratio, they have to tell you in what order they want it. The same thing is true for rates. They'll tell you in what order they want the rate. And so it has to be money first. So that'd be $28. So the second one would be miles, and that'd be 3 miles. So we just slammed those together to make a fraction. Because they wanted money first, we put the money on top, $28 to 3 miles. And again, it's a ratio. I've just got it in fraction form. Surely you remember how to write a ratio in 3 different ways, and I don't have to go over that. Now, let's take a look at this. John's rate was 30 miles / minute. That means 30 miles per minute. And this is a slight bit of a trick there. It's easy to spot the miles. They want the miles first, rate of miles to minutes. Well, how many minutes are there in there? Well, it doesn't show, but it has to be understood that when it says 30 miles per minute, that's the same as a minute or 1 minute. And that's all they're trying to do. They're just trying to mess with you. And so it's 30 miles to 1 minute. There's your rate. Finding rates from a table of information. Well, again, it says it wants money to miles. So, in fact, let's change that 1 to 0, 0 there, and I'm going to show you something of that in just a second. Take a look at your money numbers, 56, 84, and 112. Yes, 0 is also considered money, but here's the problem. Anytime you start messing with 0, it's probably going to start screwing things up a little bit, especially when that 0 is on the bottom, because you can't divide anything by 0. So when you see a 0, 0 setup, I want you to kind of steer clear of it. When both of them link together as 0, 0, don't even pay attention to it. So we can use the 56, we can use the 84, and we can use 112. And if you notice, I've got the beginning of a fraction set up, and we're putting money on top. And it wants miles second, so the 6 miles goes with the $56. So let's put that underneath there. The 9 miles and the 12 miles. And again, when you look at these rates, yes, I did take time to actually label the numbers because a rate has to have labels, okay? And it wants a rate, not a ratio, it wants a rate. Now, what about this one right here? We see the 0, 0 on that table, so we'd want to avoid that. What's the rate for money earned to cupcakes sold? So we want money first and then cupcakes sold. So take a look at money earned. It's the 10.50 and the 31.50, okay? So we can set those up right there. And what about the money earned? $3, excuse me, 3 cupcakes for the 10.50 and 9 cupcakes for the $31.50. So we could slide them into the proper spots. You could use either one of those rates. Again, just make sure that you actually label your rates.